Hello, a great pleasure again to be with you on Business Live. My name is Emmanuel Abuaki Yafi, and it's time to bring you some stories for business, of course, brewing up here in Ghana and beyond. In this edition, Chief Executive Officer of the Private Enterprise Federation, Nana Osei Bonsu, assures incoming government of its support to its industrialization policy. Nigeria trying to import more jet fuel from abroad following scarcity of aviation fuel, which reports say has led to a 40% increase in airfares. Plus, mine workers insist of a rationalization in their pay structure to minimize disparity between locals and expatriate workers' pay. That will be on the business agenda for tonight. These are the headlines. Take and stay on this program tonight. You can always stay interactive by tweeting at Joy Business GH, and on Facebook, we are on Joy Business. We're taking a quick break. We'll be right back. Thanks for staying and welcome back. CEO of the Private Enterprise Federation, PEF, Nana Osei Bonsu, has assured the incoming government of its support to its industrialization policy. He said the private sector will support government to build adequate infrastructure to aid its agricultural production agenda and also increase food security. He further pledged the private sector's involvement to also support the NPP's One District, One Factory policy.
We commit, the Private Enterprise Federation and its members commit to partner the government in a PPP to create a water pipeline across the entire nation, from Adan to the remotest part of Upper East and Upper West. We have been able to construct a gas pipeline from Enugu to Abuaze. We should be able to construct a water pipeline from Adan to the northeast part. This free-flowing water will turn into an instrument of immense transformation. First, it will guarantee every Ghanaian clean drinking water. Secondly, it will guarantee water for irrigation to create 2 or 3 seasons in agriculture to increase our use for food security. And third, to be used to provide mini hydroelectric dams, where applicable, to fully power businesses in various locations across the country, including the One District, One Factory vision of Your Excellency. The Private Enterprise Federation, realizing the ineffectiveness of micro, small, and medium enterprises in the districts and various communities, started a program to create district business coalitions in selected districts to aggregate all business players in the locality into a single movement where they engage duty bearers, district, municipal, and traditional rulers to identify business operations for the benefit of local businesses. With support from Good Governance Africa, and I think the CEO is in our midst, the Federation in June 2016 started the establishment of pilot BDCs in 3 localities, Techiman in Brahapur region, Mampong, and Ejura in the Ashanti region, to be replicated across all districts in the nation in the near future. PEF is currently engaged with our sponsor, Good Governance Africa, Conrad Adner, Steve Tong, and others, to continue the program in all the remaining districts in a 3-year duration. With the right incentives, sir, these local BDCs will serve as the investors and business group in their respective districts to invest and then run the district factories, either solo or through PPP. This is the key, sir, to the One Factory per District program that you want to create jobs and wealth in our localities, to stem the migration of our young people to the various metropolis where housing and other amenities are so stretched, turning our cities into container cities. Your Excellency, the Federation pledges its full commitment to engage your administration to drive the implementation of this program. We trust that this program will be private sector driven to create jobs with meaningful salaries and wages.
Nana Osei Bonsu is the CEO of PEF. Now, moving on, Nigeria is trying to import more jet fuel from abroad following scarcity of aviation fuel. reports are saying that the situation has led to a 40% increase in air fares and is characterized by delays and cancellation of flights for some time now. Air travelers tired of delays are being consistently advised to be patient. Meanwhile, shortage of foreign currency has been identified as a major source or major factor which continues to hurt Nigeria's airline industry as more domestic flights have been cancelled for the past 2 weeks. Now, Amina Atairu is a Nigerian journalist and joins us via Skype to tell us more about the current development in that country. Good evening and welcome to Business Live.
Good evening.
All right, so could you tell us what is the current development now?
Well, I would say that we've been having a whole lot of cancellation of flights, and that's because there is dollar scarcity in the country. But on Tuesday, our Minister for Aviation and other people talking about the Petroleum Minister, they had a meeting, and they looked at auction. They actually auctioned most of the dollars is to see how people could get access, to this dollar. But unfortunately, yeah, it was a bit difficult because other sectors are also in need, of the hard currency. Talking about the educational sector, the health sector, so many people need it. So, it's really tough. I'm looking at the fact that Nigeria, 90% of our business transactions are done, dollars. So that is really affecting, the aviation sector currently. So many airlines, have been having issues, having issues with salaries, most of the private airlines. And some airlines have to go as far as Gabon, to get this aviation fuel. But again, we are hoping that before, let's say next year, before January, we actually have a bit relief because our minister has assured us most of the refineries will start to produce this aviation fuel, and that will actually help us.
Now, Amina, is the situation peculiar to the domestic airlines industry alone, or international airlines are also suffering the same cause?
Well, I would say it affects both domestic and international airlines. There was a point where we had international airlines, refunding our naira. They wanted the hard currency. You understand the inflation we had the past 1 month really affected a whole lot of things. So it's affecting both domestic and international airlines. But I would say the brunt is more on the domestic, airlines because they have to move for you to travel from one point, let's say from Lagos to Kano, Abuja, Port Harcourt, Asaba, those places that are always visited. There have been a whole lot of cancellation of flights because this aviation fuel is not available.
Now, has this situation impacted on fares, air fares?
Yes, it has. Last week, actually did a trip to one of the states, to Benin City, and the flight was really, the fare was really alarming. We had a whole lot of cancellation of flights, and we had to, move to another, carrier to see how they could actually help. Some people, I mean, moving from Lagos to Benin City, some people paid as high as 50,000 naira for just a 30 minutes journey.
Mm.
So you could, and that was something that we used to pay 15,000 naira for, which was, let me just say, $50 currently. I mean, looking at the, rates, exchange rate, with dollar. So it's really high. The aviation fuel, according to reports, that used to go for about 215, right now like 250, 245. So it's really dicey. And then I would say too, the policies are not really helping. But we are hoping, anyways, that by 2017, all this will become history.
Now, is it a situation whereby airlines cannot actually obtain foreign currency because of the economic recession that the country is going through now?
Well, that is actually, as I said, 70% of what we consume are imported. So there's a whole lot of pressure. And all our own produce are imported. We refine outside and bring back to the country. So the pressure is actually very high. So that also added, to the recession that we're facing. And remember, there was a global, shortage. There was a global cut down on the oil price around the world. And then the likes of the Arabs, they started, producing. So that affected Nigerians. So the global, impact was really strong. It's really strong, I would say, on our country, Nigeria.
All right, so before you go, finally, what are the interim solutions to this problem by the Aviation Ministry?
Well, like I said earlier, on Tuesday, there was an auction for the dollar. The Minister for Petroleum, Finance, they're all trying to see how they can get most of the refineries, Kaduna and Port Harcourt, working. By the time they start to produce this aviation fuel and also start to have, enough reserve, at least we're going to start, having more, fuel products, especially for both our motorists, that's PMS, and also the ones for the airline. So, with the budget that was recently, read out by our president, we believe that, by the first quarter, I'm looking at the first quarter, not to be too, optimistic, saying by March, April, I think the situation in Nigeria should be better. So we are all hopeful. We've been advised, we've been calm, I would say, Minister for Aviation, Transportation, Finance, everybody has spoken to Nigeria. So we're all just calm and waiting for, the whole pressure, especially the recession to go down. And we have been assured also, the President, and Muhammad Buhari, that the 2017 budget will be out of the recession.
All right, thank you very much, Amina, for your time. Amina Ateru is a journalist in Nigeria, briefing us about the current situation or current development in Nigeria's aviation industry, where there's a scarcity of aviation fuel, leading to a 40% increase in airfares. It's still on Business Live, and in December 2013, government banned ministries and other agencies from providing Christmas gifts in the form of hampers to their respective clients. The total cost of hampers by government institutions during Christmas was estimated at around 11 million Ghana cedis. The ban therefore meant no more business boom for players in the entire industry value chain who cashed in on festive occasions such as Christmas. They include basket and cane weavers who provide what it takes to manufacture baskets for the hampers. So with the Christmas season here again, Joy Business has been finding out how business is like for them this year. Sheila Tamaklo reports.
As we know, this festive season is marked by the exchange of gifts among friends, loved ones, as well as companies to their staff and their workers as a form of appreciation for their hard work over the years. Now, these gifts are usually in the form of hampers, like these ones that I have over here. So as the season draws closer, we are here to find out from the makers of these baskets how business is going this particular season. This is the Cucumber Market at Agbogloshi, and this is where many basket weavers source their raw material, cane. It's a hot day and the area is busy as usual. We meet up with Andrews Boama, who has been selling cane for years.
2002, na yenyana more edeba. Na duties no na enye too much. So what I say. Na say the one bundle no Bush Plus here 400,000, which is 40 Ghana.
In 2002, we used to get it more. The duties were not much, but now one bundle is 40 Ghana cedis.
Expenses. Doba be do hano na ba ko esque be 350,000 for one bundle. We are marketing there oba enu 2 days or 3 days for near to
When we bring it, we go for document at the forestry for 4 Ghana cedis. The council way bill is 5 cedis. Then there are also road expenses. So by the time we get here, it's about 35 Ghana cedis. They take some to Niger and Togo when we bring it from the bush to Accra. Then they also sell them.
Andrews loves his business, but there are challenges, he says. With the poor transportation network a huge problem as he sources the cane from a village in the western region.
Transport is expensive. There aren't many cars in the area, so the least you pay is 18 million old cedis.
A popular place to find the cane weavers is along the Switchback Road in Accra, near the 37 Military Hospital. They cluster around in small groups of about 5. They make all kinds of furniture, as well as baskets for the festive season. Bright has been in the business for about 12 years. He explains that the elections had slowed things down, but business has been picking up.
We are cane workers. We are doing hampers and cane chairs here.
So the Xmas is just, in a couple of days, actually. How is the business going, especially when it comes to the hampers?
Last year, we sold hampers, but this year it's not going. You don't know. Because of the election, you don't know. If because of the election, they are not buying. Oh, now see the basket, the hampers are there. They are not buying. But last year, by this time, we sell many.
Because of the government told them to stop doing hampers. It's a big challenge to us. Because out for me now have ministries, people who are there, ministries coming here, and big companies in governments, hosted by governments. Now I get more customers from there, but out of the government stop them, you couldn't come again. So it should be a challenge for me this time around. But I'll thank God, small because individual companies are coming small. But I can also quantity I'll sell the past years. This time around, I cannot sell the same thing again.
Depending on how deep your pockets are, a buyer is presented with a variety of options when it comes to designs. There is the cocoa, the box, the basket, and the new one, a kufuado.
That's why it's called a kufuado.
Why is it a kufuado?
Because of him, I'll create this one and give the basket name of him.
Okay. And now people buying it because it's called a kufuado?
People started buying, but it's expensive basket over here. People like this one. It's not easy to get this basket because it takes you a lot of time to do it. Because of him suffering before it get power, that's why I give you this one.
Okay, and how many of this have you sold so far?
Oh, now I'll sell more than 150 pieces.
However, the prices of these baskets, I'm told, has been influenced by the inflated cost of their raw material, the cane.
When we come to our raw materials, there's a little bit of problem with our raw materials because actually where they have been bringing the cane that we have been using, by the time it gets here into our place to go and buy for it, it's very, very expensive now. So it doesn't make our business progress because you go and use the money buying the raw materials, so at the end of it, then you have a very low, a little bit slow interest. Your interest is very, very less.
Despite the weavers lamenting that business is slow, sales seem brisk and people are buying and loading the baskets into their vehicles. So this is the final product when it's done. And as you heard from them, business has been a bit slow, but they are hopeful that it's going to pick up as we get closer and closer to the festive season. Reporting for Joy News, Sheila Tamaklo.
It's on Business Live. We're taking a quick break. When we come back, it's be time for Business Agenda. Thanks for staying. Kuku Aban now presents the Business Agenda.
It's time for Business Agenda. It's Thursday again. You're welcome. It is powered by Joy Business. And today, it's a call for government to, as a matter of urgency, expedite the review of the salaries of mine workers. That call is coming from the Ghana Mine Workers Union. The gap between the salaries of top executives and that of even skilled workers, according to the union, has widened over the years to about 150%. This they want government to immediately address. Prince William Ankra is the General Secretary of the union.
If we look at the basket in Ghana, we may think that we're in paradise, but the basket in terms of our peers out there, it's a problem. And here we compare skill set and not just mere color pay. I mean, CEOs could earn as much as 150 times the average mine worker, and here I'm not a laborer. So what's in the virtual, the picture stinks, and it's really need a reversal to the extent that we can have members in the union who are predominantly not just junior staff. We organize metallurgists, mine engineers, mine geophysicists, a whole lot of technical skills, and we are medical officers as our members, so it's a whole ball game. And when we have those skill sets, including the artisanal brewer and white collar employee, you expect that they should get the best out of their sweat.
Does it look like those feet dragging? Well, the part of government?
Obviously, a bit of feet dragging because the fact remains that, hey, these are business that have made some fortune, so wanting to dilute their margins become an issue. But it's an ethical consideration, and for now, it's evident that we can combine our energies and seriously deal with that so that we don't really get the issue compounded. Interestingly, mining skills are running short globally, because people don't want to go into pits. They don't want to go into investment banking where the ties ensued, So if you're not careful, our guys will leave here to those key mining booming economies because they put the right value on them.
Yeah. How soon do you want it to address?
Yeah, we read this 2 years ago, and there were a bit of feet dragging. But this year, there is a firm commitment on the part of our Goods and Chamber of Mines. We'll launch a committee that will look at this issue. They term it a centralized bargaining, we term it a global compensation logic. So the terms of reference include these two major concerns. But we are poised that way. If they can't clean, we'll talk. But if they don't, this country will see a worse industrialization landscape in the industry that they don't see before, and I mean it.
So that was the General Secretary of the Ghana Mine Workers Union, Prince William Ankra. Well, the Chief Executive of the Chamber of Mines, Suleiman Ukoni, has a reaction to this call. According to him, although not much has been achieved in the negotiations, there is the belief a solution will soon be found to address the challenges of mine workers. He believes that the goodwill that has been shown by both parties in the negotiation will avert any possible industrial action.
The Joint Committee has been inaugurated. We're expecting that going forward, the two parties will get together under the aegis of the Joint Committee, and then they will look at what needs to be done. We have been thinking, so we did a concept note to the Ghana Mine Workers Union, and we said, look, probably we have to look at the different mechanisms for negotiations. Of course, there will be differences, but there are things which run across the industry, and therefore, if we could come together as an industry and do a kind of, centralized negotiations between the mining industry and the Ghana Mine Workers Union on behalf of employees, the Chamber on behalf of its member companies, and then Ghana Mine Workers Union, this would be a better approach. So we did a concept note, they looked at it, and out of that we decided that probably we may need to come into a middle ground. Not much has been achieved, but we believe that if there's goodwill between the two parties, we should be able to make some good progress very soon.
They are hoping to have something ready by end of first quarter. They're even contemplating striking.
Business Agenda comes up every Thursday on Business Live. In interview of the day today, Standard Chartered Bank last Monday announced the appointment of Kweku Beduado as CEO of the Southern Africa region comprising Mauritius, Botswana, Zimbabwe, Zambia, Angola, and South Africa. Mr. Beduado has worked for Standard Chartered Group for over 16 years, 6 of which was as CEO for Ghana. Following the announcement, speculations have been rife that Mr. Beduado's exit could pose serious challenges to Standard Chartered Bank in Ghana. However, in an interview with Joy Business, Mr. Bidwadu assured the bank's operations will not be affected in any way.
Country has its own challenge. Directionally, yes, we have certain agenda and strategic objectives, but obviously every country would have its level of development or opportunities and risks. So, but it all ties together under my leadership. I don't see it necessarily as an additive process, and here's why. Within the Africa Middle East region, Ghana, Nigeria, and Kenya are major markets, okay? And so what it requires to run a complex market like Ghana is what you're going to replicate in other markets, okay? And it's not necessarily an additive process. The complexities vary, but it takes a certain skill and knowledge to be able to manage each country with its complexity. So I don't see it necessarily as an additive process. Yes, altogether within that region, Angola, South Africa especially, these are big economies. So if you, Mauritius, so if you add them, yes, it looks bigger than West Africa. But the point is that it's not necessarily additive. You still have to tackle each market with its own peculiarities and idiosyncrasies. You have to manage it, the risk and opportunities that come out of that market.
Many thanks again for joining me on Business Live tonight. My name is Emmanuel Abuaji. Let's meet again tomorrow for more interesting developments in the world of business. Have a great evening.